Hey, this is Anthony with RevZilla. Watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new Schott 626VN leather jacket, available at RevZilla.com. Oh, hi, this is Brian. We've missed you. This is the 626VN, new for the spring of 17 from Schott. Now, at 10,000 feet, if you're new to Schott, they invented the motorcycle jacket. They invented the leather jacket 100 years ago. They were the first people to ever put a zipper on a jacket. Yes, read the background. It goes back that far. They're still made in America, and they're super premium. This jacket, the 626VN, is a play off their original Marlon Brando inspired. They call it the 118 Perfecto. This just happens to be the 626 version of it. Keep that in mind. This stuff's premium, handmade. These days, it's made in North Jersey, in and out of New York. Again, big cuts of cow, and we're gonna walk through it. Now, what's different between this jacket, which again has that classic Perfecto look? That's that classic motorcycle Marlon Brando look that they invented, 80 years ago, whatever that was in the 1920s. I will tell you, on the 626 vintage, it's vintage cowhide, which means it comes pre-broken in. It's also going to be a slightly slimmer cut. They've dropped some of the embossed stars from the epaulets. This, in my opinion, is more of a fashion piece, even though it's going to be that same motorcycle style we've seen. And the reason I call it a fashion piece is for two reasons. One, it's not going to be as stiff. It's got that vintage coating on it. It has more of a vintage and fashion appeal, even though it's using 1.5 millimeter cowhide, which is super heavy. The difference is it's not going to be as stiff. It's not going to take that 10 years to break in. It's not going to break in with you. Now, I will tell you, the Schott purists out there that might buy a 118 Perfecto or a 525 Perfecto, they like to break them in themselves. They like to give them character. It's a challenge. This jacket's going to fit you right off the rack, and it has a little bit less range of motion. That's the other thing. Because it's a little slimmer fit, and when we turn Brian backwards, you're also going to see it. The only place I'm really going to ding this jacket is the fact that it doesn't have the gussets in the back. It has a big, beautiful panel of leather, but there's no gussets. Like, you're going to need to reach for the bar depending on your riding position. So while you're still getting that 1.5 millimeter cowhide, which is heavy duty, you don't have the range of motion that you'd have with something like the 118 or the 525. So keep that in mind. That's what makes this a little bit more of a casual piece for being a badass on and off the bike, but being a little less technical and a little less in the range of motion side of things that you would get if you bought one of the stiffer, more riding-oriented jackets. Now, other things to keep in mind here, it's going to be silver hardware, ideal zippers. You can see it has all of those classic features. We're going to get to them in a second. Let's talk briefly, though, about fitment. Hi, is Brian. You love him, you know him. He's been around for a decade. 6 foot 195, 42-inch chest. The size chart says between a 42 and a 44-inch chest here in this size large that he's wearing. I will tell you, the way that this fits him, even if he puts his arms forward and reaches for the bars without that gusset, he's kind of out of room. So in our estimation, this jacket fits about a half size small. If Hi, is Brian had a 43 or 44-inch chest, he'd need to go up a size. But being that this is a large, being that he's a 42, this is going to fit him. He just, again, doesn't have a lot of runway to be reaching for the bars. Keep that in mind. So use the size chart. Ping us if you're curious about it, because we want to make sure you have the best chance of getting it right on the first go-around. Remember, we do ship for free over 39 bucks, and I'd love it if you click our logo, subscribe to RevZilla on our YouTube channel, leave us your comments, request your feedback on this new Schott 626 Vintage, and let us know what you thought. Now, diving into some of the nuance. Again, it's that asymmetrical look at the top, the classic motorcycle look. You have your shell casing Schott snaps, which again are going to be the snaps at the tops of the buttons here. They are a shell casing. Now, if you look down, hand warmer pockets, you do have a change purse. It's a change pouch here on the front or for your smokes, whatever's going to fit. And one of the cool things is that Hi, is Brian does have this buckle done at the bottom, but one of the things they do that's really thoughtful here is if you unbuckle this, what you're going to see is you have the ability to loop it back. And the other thing that I want to show you is that this buckle is not going to dangle. You could loop it back if you wanted, just like that. Again, if you want to get it out of the way, but there is a snap there, and that snap keeps that buckle from dangling around on you if you're not using the belt, which again is very thoughtful. If we look at the sleeve, notice big contour coming down, one big panel of leather. It doesn't take armor. That's the thing with Schott. A few of their jackets, you can add armor after the fact. This one does not. You do have your ideal big silver zipper pulls down here. And if we look at the inside, it's going to be a cloth. So again, it's going to breathe. It's going to be a cotton cloth. It's going to pull sweat away from you. Again, you'd be wearing a leather jacket like this, really spring, summer, fall, depending on your temperature tolerance in the summer. And again, if you want to beef it up for the winter, that's up to you, but it's not going to be waterproof. And I don't like getting leather like this wet, even though you absolutely can. That can be your personal preference. Now, turn and face away from me. There, Hi, is Brian. As we're working our way through the sleeve, notice the epaulette here and the clean line down the sleeve. Keep in mind, too, This guy comes in over that $800 mark because it's got that vintage, again, that vintage coating, meaning it's pre-broken in for you. If you want to go to a stiffer leather, again, that buys you the range of motion with your gussets along the back, they'd come into play right here. They're missing on this jacket. You actually save a little bit of money and come in under the $800 mark. Again, that's just going to be your personal choice. If Ives Brian lifts his arm there, you're going to see clean lines with that belt that come in down along the hip here. Go backwards for me there, HVB. The back, one of the beauties of Schott is they use big premium panels of cow. You're not seeing a lot of little stitches. You're not seeing a lot of little panels. You're not piecing this together. This is big, constructive with massive panels of premium leather in the USA, and that's really what you're investing in. You're investing in the heritage as well. To make these in the US, you're buying a little piece of Schott history. Come back around to the front for me there, HVB. Open it up from the top down. Notice he's got that smaller dot on the zipper pull. He opens it up. It's going to be flannel in its construction on the inside. The insides of these do change as you work your way through the line. Sometimes you see cotton, sometimes you see mesh, sometimes you see flannel, and sometimes you see satin. It really depends on the jacket itself, and you do have your bigger pocket on the inside of the left breast on the inside of this jacket. Now again, keep in mind, 626 vintage. Our issue with it is the missing gussets and the fact that from a sizing, you're gonna get less mobility when you're riding. The thing we really like about it is that if you don't want to have to wait to break in, if you're impatient or antsy, which in our opinion takes the fun out of breaking it in yourself, you can wear this guy right off the rack and it's going to be very comfortable. It's not going to be overly stiff. Keep in mind too, compare this to the 118 Perfecto or that 525. The next step in your journey is click the info button, your desktop, your mobile device. Visit the product detail page at RevZilla.com. Read other rider reviews of the 626VN. You shouldn't just take my word for it. As always, we'll ship for free over $39. If you want to talk to a gear geek, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown. Remember, subscribe to us at RevZilla on our YouTube channel. Stay up to date with our opinion, the latest and greatest in the moto universe. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.